if you're autistic, and especially if you're an ADHD, has this ever happened to you? So I've had comments to me throughout my life, not so much when I was a kid, but more like in my adulthood, to say that I can just like ignore people or blank people or come across as really aloof. And I always thought that was like really weird because I never do that. Or I'm never aware of doing that, yeah, and I never do it deliberately. And particularly one comment has sort of like stuck in my mind for a while. It was made to me years ago by an ex tutor of mine. So when I was doing my creative writing MA, we had like group, sort of very small group sessions, and this tutor afterwards, sort of like after he taught all the units, we were having like an informal sort of pub kind of meet up, and he mentioned that it was something that he found really interesting about me, that I just blank a question and he thought it was a question I don't want to answer. And I was like really confused because I was like, I could not recollect even one time that I'd ever done it, and I didn't understand why I would do that. There was just like no reason, because why would I just blank it? I could just say I didn't know or something. And it wasn't even like there was questions that you had to know. It was more like your opinion. And I like to express my opinion. So it just felt like there was no reason for that. And then, so this was years ago. And then the last year I've been unmasking and observing myself a little bit more. And I've worked something out. So maybe if that happens to you, maybe it will help you, or maybe you can share some of your experiences. But I thought it was really interesting. So I think what happens is there's two things. The first one is, I'll give you an example. Today we were chilling with my kid, and they made a comment. I think it was like that suitcase. I was watching something on YouTube, and somebody said I like my suitcase, and they kind of like picked it up and started singing it. And I had so much stuff going on through my mind in response to that, because I was thinking of what's happening with TikTok and everything. Yeah, there was so much going on in my mind. And so in my mind, I thought I was like properly engaging with the conversation. But then I realized after a few minutes that I didn't actually say anything at all. So I said to my kid then, what did it look like to you on the outside? And they said, it just looked like you were maybe lost in your own thought, or you would like you didn't hear me or something. And I, from my perspective, thought I'd completely engaged in the conversation. It was such a like, I had a whole like big thing. I was thinking of so many things connected to that. So I was really I suddenly became aware that I do that. So maybe that's what this guy meant. And then the second thing I've noticed, which is kind of similar, is if somebody says something in a conversation with me and it's odd, like it's not odd as in it's strange, but it's like an odd one out. Yeah. So for example, we're talking about something and then they say something that doesn't seem to fit, or like it's kind of like out of nowhere. I can sometimes just not respond because I like genuinely, it takes me so long to process what that means. It literally feels like almost like I've already classed and pigeonholed the conversation topic in my mind, and I do it on I'm not aware that I'm doing this, but it's almost like I've classified what we're talking about. And then if somebody says something and it's completely out of the blue, then sometimes it can throw me a little bit, and I would just not respond, even though I would kind of be processing it. I would keep it in my mind, and then later on I might come back to them and say, oh yeah, what you said about that's my reaction, kind of thing. And also, interestingly, it only happens when I'm not expecting to be having that sort of thing come from that specific person. So if I'm just having small talk with somebody, I can sort of expect that they would say anything, because to me small talk is quite unpredictable. So then it wouldn't really throw me, I think. But if we are talking about specific things that I have already kind of, like I said, classified in my mind into a specific topic, and they do say it, I wonder how many times I've done that to people and how that comes across. Yeah, let me know if that happens to you, because I'm now rethinking my whole life.